Welcome to Flying with Mike. We're about to start this show on the road here. We're going to be flying out of Phoenix Mesa, Arizona, heading up to Grand Junction, Colorado. We're on VATSIM. Feel free to join us. We'd love to have you aboard as we kick this off in just about a minute and a half. All right, folks, there you are. We're sitting on the ground here at Phoenix Mesa, Arizona, getting ready to fly an Allegiant flight. These appear to be seasonal more towards the winter time. I just went ahead, tried to see when these flights fly for Allegiant. It appears more in the fall out to Grand Junction, but we're going to do it today. So we're parked on the ramp here at Mesa. We're kind of give you a little overview real quick, and then we're going to dive right in. All right, so there you go, folks. Got the fuel, got the loaders, got the GPU and stairs all hooked up so we can get these people going. So let's do that. Let's hop into the cockpit and let's get rolling with the checklists again. Hey, Melvin, Leroy, appreciate you coming out supporting us. We appreciate it all. Enjoyed that video you did on the BAE. Well, you're making it tempting for me to sink $75, but it looks like a good plane. So, well, we're going to get this Airbus in the air. So what we got to do here, well, we got to do the preliminary cockpit checks. And folks, basically, we're going to work from the bottom to the top panel. So first, of course, we got the ground power on. That's on the electronic flight panel here under supply. We'll go ahead and put the chocks in as well. I see I forgot that. Plus, like I said, the fuel truck. Here, let's zoom in. Make it a little easier on people's eyes, especially this old guy's eyes. There's the fuel truck, and it shows how the fuel is currently. 3,300 kilograms. Unfortunately, yes, kilograms. There is no way to switch it into pounds. Packs were loaded out. We haven't loaded yet. We'll get to that here momentarily. And the staircases are up to the plane and the cargo loaders as well as loading cargo. Today's flight, by the way, we're only running 180 passengers. We got a full load behind us, but no cargo to help bolster Allegiant's profit margin. So let's get back out to the cockpit and continue on. So the ground power is attached and running. It's not powering the aircraft though yet. So thrust levers, obviously in the middle here. Let's make those are at idle, and I'm not sure why they weren't. Interesting. Something I missed on my last flight, obviously. Engine masters, that's these two levers right below them. Make sure they're down and off. And in between is the engine mode selector. Make sure that's pointing to the 12 o'clock position normal. Parking brake is down at the bottom here. Make sure that is on. Speed brake, for some silly reason, I either get 50% or 3/4 of my speed brake showing up all the time. and make sure that when you bring them back up to 0, that white ribbon isn't showing. That means they're armed. Flaps is right on the other side. Make sure they're at 0. And we're going to move up a little. Like I said, we're going to move to the top now. The gear lever is down. You're not going to be able to see the 3 green. We don't even have the batteries on yet. So cold and dark every time we fly this plane. Continuing our way up the panel. It's a good thing on all aircraft. Make sure your wipers are off. Kind of silly when you kick the batteries on. You see them wiping a dry, hot Arizona day here. So there you go, folks. The cockpit prep is done. Let's power up. So we're going to switch to the overhead panel here. Now, as you look at it, the only lights on are our battery voltages and the external power. Everything else that shows dark could be conceived kind of weird. They are actually not powered, including the batteries. Now we're going to go ahead, click battery 1. That's going to bring on the off button here. So now we have some power to the plane. And then we're going to click battery 2. And that's going to bring power onto the plane, including our 3 green for the down. That's how you can tell if the batteries are on or off. And our backup ADI is firing up right now. Okay, so let's go ahead then and put the external power on the bus. And now everything lights up like a Christmas tree here. So give it a couple seconds. And then we're going to move on to cockpit prep, which is basically setting our overhead lights. And for that, we've got this switch, which is at max. If you want it at max, keep it there. Otherwise, set it how you like. We're going to leave the nav lights for a second here. Let's move down to the middle while our other panels are firing up here. Takes 40 seconds, they'll flicker, and here they come. Good. It's always good to make sure we have gauges. Here's your PFD, which is this gauge. I turn them all the way up. Nav display is right next to it, as is here. Okay. You'll get this fault until we're powered up here. And the other ones are located right down here on the pedal. And again, I leave these as is. We are on VATSIM. We'll set the radios at a little further down in the checklists. So we're not going to run on POSCON today. We will be running VATSIM. All right, so there takes care of the cockpit prep and power up. Let's get the aircraft loaded now. So we're going to go back to the EFB. We're going to head over to the fuel. And what I'm going to do here, let me also side by side with Sim Toolkit. This could be interesting. All right, we're going to try and get it so it's in the best position to kind of work with it here. All right, so let's fade that in. I know it's going to overlap just because I like it close to my face here so I can kind of see it. For some reason, this is as bright as this will get. All right, so the flight today, we are going to be putting 6,902 kilograms of fuel into the plane. We're also going to be loading, we're scheduled to load 15,420 kilograms of payload. That's 180 people, no cargo. So we'll put that into the aircraft here. We'll put the 9902 right here. You have to have the fuel truck here for it to fuel. Just a word of warning. Okay, and I'm just double checking 6902. Okay. And set. And that's going to put our fuel levels to where we want them. Go over to the packs. We'll set for 180. Whoops. And set. Full load. And we're going to run with 0 cargo. Set. Now let's check and see that our numbers match. They do not appear to be, which is good. Because what we're going to do is fill it out with some cargo now. Even though it wasn't planned, well, we're going to put some on. Alright, so we're supposed to leave out of here with 58,262. We're 300 under. So let's go back to service and cargo, and we'll put on 300. Come back to perf. 58,262. And that is what we were looking for. Alright. Yep. Alright, so let's go ahead and close this out. Real quick, looking at the rest of the plan. Cost index for the flight will be 5. Air distance is 359 miles. Denver is our alternate. And we're going to be climbing up to 35,000 here out of Mesa. Real quick, coming down, here's our route. Yote 6, Yoper to DVC. Then into, right now, we're planning runway 29 into Grand Junction. We'll see as the trip goes. The winds may switch to where we have to come in on the opposite way, 1-1. We'll see. And then again, 140 for our scheduled time. Estimating an hour and a half. So we'll see which one plays out. And then our payload right here. 180 people, 300 pounds of cargo. So that did work out for us. I missed that in my pre-flight look at the flight. All right, so that pretty much finishes us up here with Sim Toolkit. Let's pull that away before I forget. There we go, and there we go. All right, so that'll be out of here, and I'm just paranoid because I, for some reason, just love to leave that up there. Okay, so that takes care of the aircraft loading. Now, the checklist does call for us to pull the vehicles away. I'm going to only pull away the fuel truck and the cargo guys. We'll leave the stairs on. Real world would, just because, one, we still got to load the people in, even though it shows here. But two, even if they were loaded in there, it's an emergency egress, just in case. All right, so let's move on and get into the nitty-gritty here and start this APU up. All right, so looking at the plane here, we're going to go up to the top panel again. Now, folks, if you all know how to make this button stay down so I can check the warning lights that we have potential fire on the APU, sure love to know it. Mine, for some reason, won't. But we just click the test button, make sure the lights come on. I hear the warning bell in the background. Now, what should come on is a warning down here, or I'm sorry, in here, and the master caution. Well, that's on anyway because a lot of things are shut off at the moment. So there's your APU fire check. Let's go back up to the top. Actually, we're going to stay on that view. What we're going to do, the APU master is in between. Okay, and while we're waiting for the flap to open, now I'm going to go ahead and turn on my nav lights. Last flight we flew, we're going to go to nav 2. And folks, there is no special magic behind nav 1, nav 2. It's just 2 lights on the wingtips. Do the same function. It's just one is on, one is off. So if you do your pre-flight and the one we're set for is off, try the other one. If it's on, boom, no reason for maintenance to come out. But what we were looking for is the flap open here. Before that comes on, it does a quick system check to make sure fluids are good and nothing that would prevent it from firing up, plus opening the flap up to be able to take in the air to start the engine. Alright, so let's turn it on by clicking start. And here, let me pull that up again. You'll see it firing up right here. The EGT coming up. Takes a little bit. I'm going to get that out of the way here. And then once we're up and running, we can then discontinue external ground power and get the APU bleed on so people can be comfortable inside the plane. Believe me, right now the weather here is 25 degrees Celsius, which translates for us here in the US, who may not be savvy with that number, 95 degrees. But it's a dry heat, folks, so it's just, it's going to feel like 85 out there. Wrong. Okay, so I missed it powered up, so we're on. And what we can do now is I'm going to keep us on external power, but I'm going to go ahead and click the APU bleed. Again, it's going to start cooling things down. Let me get up here to make sure I'm going the right way. There we go. And everything's cooling off now, back into back. We'll keep the external power on until we're ready to push. And with that, folks, there's the APU startup. Very, very simple stuff. Here's the APU master. Right below it is the APU start switch. And when it shows available, that means it's on the bus. Now, one thing I wanted to look at, I was talking with my dad. He used to teach pilots how to fly the Airbus. And I'm trying to find a couple to see if they're modeled. I don't think they are. I was looking for the rat. Oh wait, there it is. I think that's it. Well, he'll be out here in a couple of weeks. We'll hit him up for it to make sure, but I think the rat is right there. If you lose everything in flight, you can pop that down to get electric and hydraulics. All right, so we're going to push on to the overhead panel checks now. Now, basically, we all know Boeing, we go down the panel. Airbus goes up, just like we went from the bottom up to the overhead in our initial preliminary checks. We're doing this same thing here. We're just going to ride the, I'm not sure why that moved. That kind of irritates me. Hang on a second. I'm going to fix that real quick with my X camera. Actually, let me just do something. What did I just put down? A sunshade? I sure did. How about that? I didn't know that. Go here. Okay. Disregard. That's right. I don't know what I did. All right, so here's what we're going to start with. The wipers we already know are off. Anything that says off will probably turn on, and I'm going to turn cruise supply on. The voice recorder is not modeled, so you can't click tests or anything like that. These two faults will change to black like these are once we're aligned up here. We'll just move up, and let's go ahead now and move the ADIRs, which are basically the IRS units. Airbus, I'm sure is, no, I don't know what the A and the D stand for, but all we're going to do, move them to nav, one at a time. Take your time here, though. We're going to get a line. We want to see on bat first. Boom. When that goes off, then I start with the next ADARs, which is actually over here. Now, why we wait for on bat, that's just in the real world, if the plane completely loses all electrics from the engines and the APU, the navigation still runs on the battery. And that's all that's checking. Okay, on bat and off, right? There it goes. Okay, so we're done with that side. coming down now to this big middle panel. We want the strobe set to auto. Pilot preference here, you can set it, keep it off. I know in the US we turn them on when we go on the runway, but other countries put them in auto so when they take off they come on. The whole goal is they're on when you go airborne. Okay, so now we've got the strobes in auto. We'll come over here, we'll put the no smoking sign on and the seat belts on. I do that because I'll forget. Come over here to the emergency lights, turn those to arm. Landing elevation is this round knob here. Make sure it's 12 o'clock auto. Okay, we're just going to go through here, make sure there's nothing saying off like you see here, because otherwise it is now on. Excuse me. Up to the fuel pump, so turn those on. Next up, we do our engine fire checks. Same thing. This is where I would love to be able to come down. Okay, I hear them. And I hear them there. Reason being, you would again, same thing, be looking for fire indications here, here, but also here, right below the engine start switches. So again, it's something I wish I knew, but it won't hold if I put it in left click, right click. It just won't stay down. So, oh well, thank goodness it's a sim. Otherwise, the jet mechs would be up here fixing that. All right, so then we'll come back down. We're going to go through, check again the wiper, make sure everything is set. Cargo heat, I'm going to go ahead and turn on, even though it is 25 degrees Celsius outside. Move it 12 o'clock. Now, I turned, one thing I want to back up on. These three knobs I turned down, that's your temperature control for the cabin. I'm making it colder since it is a warmer day today. Probably a cooler day than what's coming to Mesa. But anyway, I'm just trying to cool it. When we're ready to go, we'll turn the cabin up a couple notches towards the hot side to kind of warm it up a little. And then finally, as we come up from the cargo heat, make sure these are all blank. And the nav 3 is, or not nav, COM 3 is showing with a dot, COM 3. That's the overhead panel. We're going to come down now to the main panel, or the panel in the middle, and the pedestal, where we'll do the radios. Okay, so the landing gear is 3 green and down. We want to make sure the anti-skid nose wheel steering, that is this, oh, that fault went away, is gone simply by checking on. The FMCs, that always makes me giggle, only because this is not a Boeing, this is an Airbus. They're called McDoos, MCDU. It's kind of funny. Now, likewise, on the Flight Factor 767, they call the FMCs McDoos. Go figure. Either a typo or intentional, who knows, but it always makes me kind of giggle. All right, but we're going to make sure they're on, and they are. And let's see if yep, better view here of the radios. Again, the McDoos are on, both of them. And we cleared out that. Our status is TCAS, of course, isn't working. All right, so we're good there. And radio 1. Now let's talk about radio 1. First thing, let's set the frequency. Obviously, 122.800 is Unicom. I went the wrong way. Went the long way. Went the long way home. Okay, so we got it on VHF1. Now, in order to transmit, especially on POSCON, I haven't tested it on VATSIM, make sure you turn your microphone on. In POSCON, when you kick your push to talk switch, if it's not turned on, it'll tell you you're not configured correctly for your mic. vPilot and VATSIM will not. So if you're not being able to transmit but you hear, check that. Make sure that's set. And then we'll use this for if there is ATC. Over here, I'm going to set, we'll go with the POSCON numbers just because they're different. In POSCON, this is something you have to set. VATSIM, they could care less. And we'll go with 1, 2, 4, 5. Oop, there we go. All right, so that would be POSCON's in-flight Unicom. And of course, we all know 121.5 is the emergency channel, and this will be whatever we see for ATC. Now would be a good time to also make sure your radar is turned off. Set your transponder to me, it's going to be 2000 until told otherwise. And there you go, folks. The main panel and pedestal along with the overhead are set. So now that brings us into the auspicious McDo's. I'm just going to bring this one up. Now, if you ever want to get to this page using this one, all you got to do is click Data, Aircraft Status. That'll bring you to the initial page in the Boeing. When you first get to the FMC, that's the first page where it tells you to make sure you got the engine, the aeronaut cycle updated, and so forth. That's as far as that needs to go in the Airbus. So that's why I'm getting rid of it. But what we're going to do, the engine is correct. The aeronaut was updated. And everything else looks good. So we're going to click Initialize the INIT button. From there, we're going to punch in KIWA. Then we're going to put a slash, and then it's KG. Good Lord, JT. Okay. And what that's going to do is see if we have any flight plans in here. We don't. And the reason I don't, folks, it's going to be such a long flight plan to put in here. So I didn't do it just so you can all see how long it takes. Might even need a tissue to wipe the sweat off my brow. And we're going to go with MAC, which is the airline we're flying for, 0572. That's my call sign usually. And we've got a cost index of 5. 35,000, I believe I said. And scroll up. And yeah, I've got a little cheat sheet I have here, folks, that I run with, that I can make sure. I don't know in-flight temps, so I go with default there. Okay, so we are going to need to do an IRS initialization, so we click that button. And then we want to come down to Align on Ref and confirm. And it's still aligning. So we're going to return. We'll click Wind.
Phoenix, West. This is 2242 departing 7 left for Marbles. It's Phoenix.
And next phase. Okay, the winds are good. And that's it. That's all you got to do, folks, for that page. Now, I differ from the checklist given to me because I still go with, let me put my flight plan in next, not my weights, and then go to the performance page and do my V-speeds without my route in there. It's just out of position for me. And I'll show you when this gets aligned, what it looks like. What we're going to do is go to the F-plan page. We're going to plan 30 left. There it is. GPS primary, when that comes up here, means they are aligned. And we're clearing it off, all of them. It also says that at the bottom until you clear it off, like I just did. Okay, so scroll 30 left. Scrolling. Yotes, wait. Yotes. Whoops. There we go. And Yoper, I think it is. Hang on, let me pull up my flight plan. And I notice I was kind of rushed for time, so I didn't put that in on my normal start. Here we go. Oh, great. It's not going to work. You got to love Sim Toolkit sometimes. Okay, well, I've got my flight plan up here. Yoper. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and use this one so they're in there for sure. Okay, so that's not allowed. All right, next. Okay, now this is where it's going to take so long to put this in here. D, V, C. Done. All right, so let's work on the arrival. Like I said, folks, really long flight plan. It's only 300 miles away. Well, 350. So, okay, there are no arrivals into Grand Junction. So we're gonna leave it like this till we get out of here, because winds could be shifting up there, and that's what I want to keep my eye on. And I'm gonna do that right now. If they've already shifted, we'll do that. Grand Junction still showing 310, and okay, 270. So by the time we'd get up there, even if they shifted, it's not much. So we're gonna plan it. It's such a short flight, I hate not to. Okay, now what am I doing wrong? Hang on a second, try this again. There we go. Oh, is it an RNAV? What I swore it was an ILS. It doesn't matter. I'll shoot the RNAV. Or the LDA. Is the LDA available? Oh, yeah, we'll do that. Okay, that takes care of that. We'll clear out the discontinuity. And I am going to side by side here real quick. Whoops, we got to go up. Whoop. Hang on a second, folks. Let's switch into plan. And let's walk through the flight plan, shall we? Make sure we didn't miss anything. Nothing we can do here, folks. Just so you know. So up we go. And everything's looking good. I'm so used to having to click and accept. Okay, so we're programmed in. We're going to leave it. I've just got a feeling I need to. All right, so close. So now we've got the flight plan in, folks. So the next step here is now to go back to the initialization page. And I always forget which arrow. It's this arrow. Now, one thing I want to show here on our... Okay, so after all that lovely fun, we're not going to do the side-by-side, folks. What we're going to do, we know that 58262 is correct. We know that we've got 6,902 kilograms on board. We're going to click set, and that's just to allow us to pull the McDo up. And when we click wait boarding, oh, it already did it for us. 58.3 is too much. Oh, it's right. I'm sorry. I misread myself. 58.3 rounded up. Yeah, that's correct. Because I noticed the CG was correct, which is right here. That's your zero fuel weight CG. That's what this obviously is referencing. 58.3 is just rounding up this number. 66.9 is this number here. Okay, my bad. Sorry, folks. All right, so that gets us the weights loaded. Now let's go to the perf page. Here we're going to be figuring out our V1, V2, trans altitude is 18,000. That's easy. They're the same in the US all the time. Then we'll put our flaps, trim, and our flex in. Now, there was a site that was working a millennium, it seems like, ago. Now it's no longer. I'm going to see if it is right now. If not, I'm not going to worry about it. And it's not available. Okay, that's why I wanted to check. Okay, but I have TopCat. That's a payware program. Same company that makes Professional Flight Planner. This will give you your takeoff data. So will Professional Flight Planner if you set the plane up with the TopCat in there. Or it's the best information I've found out there. So we're going to do a quick update. Okay. Unfortunately, I can't bring this over, folks. It's on Windows 7. Yeah, I can hear you all saying, oh my God, are there pterodactyls flying in the background? Or your car's on real Firestones made of stone? But anyway, so we're still variable here, 10 miles, scattered, or here, I'm going to try something here, just to see if Sim Toolkit will come up and be able to work so you all can see this too. I'm going to restart it. Okay. Bear with me while it restores and reconnects and resyncs. But anyway, what I've got currently is as of 1750, which is actually almost an hour ago. Variable winds here at Mesa, 10 miles clear, 25 degrees, hence the 90 degree temperature I gave y'all. And 3007. We'll get that as the checklists tell us to. All right, so let's give it a try. Just want you all to be able to see the METARs too. And if you want to get a route, you can. Here's the route. Hey, it's working. And there's our METAR here. And just so you can see ahead of us, whoops, you got to put the information for the METAR in front of it. And there's where we're going. Unfortunately, I don't know if you can do TAF. I didn't even ever think to look into that. I'll have to look and see. All right, so we got the basic information, 30 left, optimal, 80 ice. I don't think in 90 degree temperatures we need it. Takeoff data. Okay. So we're going to be flexing at 61 degrees in configuration 2 for departure. I'm assuming because of the density altitude. We're going to have about 1,800 feet. Now they're calling for a V1, VR, V2, 148, 150. So let's do that first, 148.
Phoenix traffic citation is taken 7 right for departure.
And 150. All right, now flaps 2 slash crud, I forgot. How quickly I forget. What juice? Oh man. down 1. So that'll be DN 0.1. Okay, 61. And then we're going to keep these where they're at, because I'm going to almost dollars to donuts. We're not going to get the black box site to work. I'm pretty sure he doesn't fly into Mesa from Europe. So he might, yeah, that's why I'm going to check. KIWA. No information. Kind of figured that was going to happen. All right, but anyway, folks, there we go. The McDo is now planned. All we have left to do is the center panel again, where we, hang on a second. Well, let's get, we have to, never mind. Hang on, we'll do that. So the altimeter here, I just got to scroll, look up my little, what this TopCap program does, folks. It's when you're in the real aircraft, you send your data off to a company, clicking the ATSU button. They reply back with your takeoff information. Everything you need to plug in. You type it in, you go.
1167 entering 7 left, Phoenix.
So this is the strip that I would get back that would print. I believe it shows, yeah, right here. So this is where they would print it and then keep it nearby so they can see it for their departure briefs and all that good stuff. All right, so let's put it in 3007, I believe. Let's make sure 07, yes. Okay, next up is the FDs are both on.
Rolling 7 left.
Almost to the point where I'm going to turn him off. Okay. Nav select to arc, and it is. Range at 20. We want to make sure we have constraints turned on both. And I'm going to go ahead and put these both to VOR. Same with these. Okay. Auto throttle's on. Altitude we have not set. So let's first get that over to 1,000 so it gets up there quicker. There we go, 35,000. I don't know if we can clear climb all the way or not, but we're now set. And folks, that is the final steps of the pre-flight process. Hey, we did it 5 minutes quicker this time. All right, so what I've got to do here is quickly get my ACARS program up and running. All right, so we're into pushback phase now. So what I'm going to first do here is let's go ahead and plan. Actually, we're going to go ahead and call it.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go.
Okay.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Okay, so while she's driving up, let's get over to the service page here on the EFB. Remember, we had the staircases in place. Let's go ahead and remove those. Overhead panel, disconnecting the ground power. And I just, for some reason, one time. Okay, everything looks good. And back to here. Finally go to the supply, turn off the ground power. Let's go outside the airplane. You can see she's pulling in, so we'll pull off the chocks. Now what I'll set this for is weather.
Okay,
It's our
all
radar,
doors and hatches
all the
are
way
closed.
up.
Ready to connect.
So again, we can see probably we're the only ones here. Sure looks like it. And what we're going to be doing, folks, we're going to taxi out here, follow Alpha all the way down to the end of 30 left, which is this forward runway here, and we're going to take off. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and do the departure brief here. That way everyone's on page.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking.
Alright, so we're up on the map here. Again, we're parked here at the terminal. We're going to come back out to Victor, come over on Alpha to November, and that's how we're going to take off. Yotes 6 has us come out, and we're going to basically go direct to Mabel, Yotes, Yoper. And then down here, there is no top altitude, so we're going to go all the way up. 30s, the 30s, climb on heading 304, or it's signed by ATC. Then vectors to MR Bill, then on to Yotes, then on to transition. Expect filed altitude 3 minutes after departure, so guess what, folks? We're going straight up. Alright, so there you go, folks. There's the departure brief. Yotes 6 departure to Yoper. And then from Yoper we go to DVC. I want to say Dove Creek, but I know I'm probably way off. I'm going to find out. I was right, Dove Creek. Wow. For some reason didn't think it was that simple, folks. All right. Hey, welcome aboard, J Drums. Thanks. Where we're going? Where to? Well, we're in Mesa. So first off, get there. You can fly along with us. Then we're headed up to Grand Junction, Colorado. Maybe this will help you. So come on, join in. Anyone wants to join in, folks? We're not gonna, hog the airways up. Believe me, it's an Airbus. It doesn't hog much. Although maybe in Grand Junction it will. Oh, and just so everyone knows, the altitude here at Mesa, airfield altitude, that one doesn't have it. That's weird. Okay, you're really starting to upset me here, charts. 1,374 feet above sea level. So we're a little bit up, folks. Not like some places. But anyway, we're ready to push back. Let's get the beacons on. The APU's running. Tow vehicles in place. ACARS is started. Making sure. And, how about we do this? Let's pull Toolkit out of the fray. And, oops. Let's release the parking brakes and start our pushback, folks. Actually running pretty close to on time. We're about 3 minutes late out of the blocks. Let you all get a look here. She's ready to push.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Pretty desolate, and I think everything I've seen of Mesa, it looks a lot like that. So let's hop back into cockpit, clear out of here. Starting it is real simple, folks. We're going to go to the pedestal. We're going to move the start engine mode selector to start. And then we're going to start engine number 2 first. Okay, so you'll see you'll see a gray box here. That'll let you know it's spooling. When it's done on its cycle and we can start the other one, it'll say actually avail for a little bit here. Okay. All right, J-Drums, let's go. Better hurry up. No rush, man. No rush. And like I said, anyone else wants to join in, please, by all means. We're just now pushing back in Mesa. Look forward to anyone who wants to join in. We would love to have you in the air, heading up to Denver ARTC into Grand Junction. I've never been there, folks. Either with the truck to drive through the town or in an airplane. So this ought to be fun.
Operation complete. Go ahead and set the parking brake.
Okay, parking brake set.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
And engine is stabilized. We'll start up number 1. There's the gray box. And then once we're started on this one, we can move the start selector switch back to 12, or mode selector back to 12 o'clock normal. All right, she's ready to disconnect, and we're going to go ahead and say, sure, why not? Now, one step here, folks, you want to make sure, once she's disconnected and you see her driving around, before you continue on or before you taxi, make sure you see that pin in the real world. The simulator world, it's up to you. But that pin is in there.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have fun up there.
So anyway, that's stuck into your nose gear, so you want that out or you may not be able to retract it. And there she goes driving away. That's the kind of, by the way, J-Drums, that's the kind of pushbacks we need at our airport. I know you're the man to get on that project. Uh-oh, can't see her. There she is. See, there's the pin right there in the left hand. We're good to go, folks. All right, so let's move on. So the engines are started. We can move the mode selector switch. Now you can see it really good to norm. Can kill the APU bleed up here. Packs 1, packs 2, make sure they're both running, and they are. No, again, no off lights. And let's go ahead and kill the APU. It'll take some few seconds to cool down, and then it'll go through the shutdown. Now, let's go into the before taxi checks. All right, so let me come to the middle here. It's a little easier to see. First thing, they're calling for lights. I've already got them turned on. We'll turn the taxiing lights on when we're ready to taxi. For now, let's get the brake fan on. That's right next to your 3 green for the landing gear. Auto brakes we want to set to max. That's in case of a rejected takeoff. That's the RTO switch in a Boeing. Our radar, we'll turn that on now. I'll go with 2. That's where it ended up. And while we're down here, we'll put the spoilers in armed, which is basically see the white band at the bottom. Set flaps for 2. And sounds like that C-17 from yesterday, J-Drums, is heading out. Or heading in, I don't know, I didn't look out. Anyway, it's got a C-17 in the area. Yeah, I live right by Scott Air Force Base, folks, so I get to hear all that fun stuff. Heading out, okay. And, well, let's see. And the last thing I want to do is click the button to reset the rudder trim. We're at flaps 2. Verify that. Flaps 2. And we're ready to taxi, folks. So now we'll kick on those taxi lights. turn the parking brake off. And here we go. Taxiing out to runway 30. Oh, someone's flying maybe a 730. Is that you, J Drums? Solo 1? Don't think the Airbus has this camera, but mine does. Compliments of X camera. It's free for some of it, $15 for full functionality. I paid the 15. All right, folks, just a little further down here. We're going to go ahead and run through the during taxi. We need to come in here, do our takeoff test. Make sure everything's green.
Go to the Burbank Airport is a 7 departure harbor transition as filed. Maintain 4,000, expect flight level 340.
We're ready to go, folks.
Squawk 0751.
Squawk 0751, Velo 110.
Velo 110, rebound, current gateway altimeter 3005, expect 30 left for departure.
Okay, PAX 1 and 2 will remain on. Nose lights will turn on. Nose and landing lights will go on the runway.
Albuquerque Center, Cessna 25610, request.
Number 25610, Albuquerque Center.
And Albuquerque Center, Cessna 25610 is a Cessna 152 Slant Alpha. We're at 3,400, climbing 7,500, about a mile to the south of Wickenburg, looking for a flight plan to Casa Grande, please.
November 25610, squawk 0737.
0737, Cessna 610.
You said you want to go to Casa Grande?
Affirmative, 610. I'm sorry, run that squawk by me again?
0737.
0737, 610.
And our taxiway, folks, is
November
right up here.
Near 610, radar contact 20 miles north of the Thai Road intersection. Maintain VFR.
Maintain VFR 610.
Back 572, squawk mode Charlie.
Am I missing one?
Departure flight 2946, expect a visual approach from a 7 right.
Visual 7 right, frontier flight 2946.
And Mac Air 572 appears to be showing Charlie. I don't have any other settings on vPilot.
Mac 572, squawk normal.
Don't have that button. Yeah, I believe I'm squawking normal, Center.
7 Victor Alpha, open line.
I know the button you're wanting. I don't see it.
Squawker 800, descend via the Bear 3 arrival, El Paso, altimeter 3003. under descend via the Bear 3 arrival, the El Paso altimeter 3003. Whenever your top of descent is, your FMC should tell you when the top of descent is. I'm just giving you the instruction now so you can start descending whenever the FMC tells you to.
Unless you're in Oakland. They get upset with you if you do that. And Albuquerque Center, Mac Air 572. We appear to be squawking normal. We're ready to go 30 left.
Mac 572, fly heading 120 under 30 left, clear for takeoff. Number 427, Victor Alpha, Albuquerque Center. Hello, clear to the Gateway Airport. Radar vectors Newman, as fly will maintain 17,000. Expect flight level 250, 10 minutes after. Squawk 0745.
Mac Air 572 understands, fly heading 120 on departure.
Number 7, Victor Alpha, read back correct. Expect 26 left, call for taxi.
Can't hear anyone. And center Mac Air 572, that was 120 for the heading on departure.
Mac 572, affirmative, fly heading 120.
And did you say we're cleared? I apologize, didn't catch that.
Yes, sir, you're clear for takeoff. And for me, it shows your transponder is still off. If you go to your client and click mode C, that'll turn it on.
All I have is disconnect standby, ident, flight plan, and settings.
Mac 572, click standby, that'll turn it on.
Standby won't stay on.
Mac 572, try going into the plane and swiping the knob on the transponder box, just flipping it all the way to TARA, because that's in the Airbus.
Yeah, we've got it on TARA. We'll see if it goes automatic when it takes off.
Approaching 30 left.
Is there a new version I should be looking? I'll check the menu real quick.
On runway 30 left.
Number 610, cleared in the Phoenix Bravo airspace, maintain VFR at 7,500, the Phoenix altimeter 3002.
Alright, clear in the Bravo, we'll maintain VFR below 7,500, 3002, so 610.
Okay, final checks, runway, PAX. Okay, here we go, folks.
Albuquerque Center, Delta 834 is with you, approaching flight level 330 on course.
Delta 834, Albuquerque Center, welcome.
V2.
Ooh, almost did a tail strike. Sorry about that, folks. Did not mean to crank on it like I did.
Gear up.
2946, fly present headings, run the runway 7 right, localizer, vectors, final approach course.
Roger, 7 right, localizer, join localizer for runway 07 right, frontier flight 4946.
Back 572, I don't know what happened, but your transponder turned on, radar contacts, altitude.
Altitude crossing 3,700 for flight level, or for 4,000.
Back 572, climb and maintain, flight level 350, clear direct UPER.
Up to 350, direct UPER, or Mac Air 572. Okay, folks, that was the absolute worst takeoff I've ever done. Hang on a second, let's get on. Holy mackerel, I should not have tried getting out of the plane like I did there, folks. Wow, that was almost a tail strike if it didn't hit. That was an embarrassing takeoff. Wow. Yeah, I think I will. Yeah, Melvin, you're 100%. Yep, there'll be a definite check on the landing plus the overspeed on the flaps.
Flight 2946, the Phoenix Field, 12 o'clock, 19 miles, report the field in sight.
Alright, so we're direct Yoper. Let's get our head fully back into this plane.
Flight 2946, clear visual approach, runway 7 right, clear to land.
Clear visual, clear to land,
Okay.
runway 07 right, frontier flight 4946.
10,000 feet.
Okay, so let's do the after takeoff here since we just crossed 10,000. Lights off. Okay, and down to the pedestal and get the speed brakes in. Flaps are up. Oh. Hopefully that's not a sign of the other end of this. Okay, so we're going to push out. Final checks, brake fan off. Let's take a look outside and see the damage. Doesn't appear to be any. Oh, by the way, folks, this is brought to you by Drone. Just kidding. Ah, look, no scratches. Oh, we'll still have to have the maintenance check done. Well, it's possible if you watch that, J-Drums. I might have hit the tail on that one. Would you do a FOD check there at 30 left? Oh, but anyway, oh well, good thing it's the sim. Okay, we're at 15.2, we're on course. And let me check. Did I turn my wing lights on? I sure did. Ah, forgot it's 2 clicks. Now they're all in. Alright, so have I got next week on here? No, I do not. Doggone it. Oh, yes, I do. Okay, yeah, that'll be Thursday, actually. We'll go from Tahiti to the Easter Islands. They're in the South Pacific. Oh, yeah, flying with a mouse on any of the Sims. I don't care if it's Microsoft or X-Plane. If you're using a mouse and a keyboard, it is rough. TCA, I'm not sure of that one. I have Saitek's, which I think is Logitech now. X52s. They're really nice. I'm looking to try to also save up for the honeycomb yoke, which means I also have to save up for the throttles, and I also have to save up for the rudder pedals, because you have to have that when you go to a yoke. Kind of like that all-in-one in my system here. So, but anyway, yeah, that TCA joystick ought to be, you know, once you get on that, that'll help a lot. And if it has a throttle lever, that even helps even more. Okay, so let's get back into the cockpit here so I don't get myself out of whack here. I need the, I'm so used to flying to 67 where things come up a little easier. Okay, so we are 194 miles out. 82 miles out. So let's quickly look over that arrival brief since it's now quiet. So hang on a second here, that way y'all can at least see it. Oh, that's perfect. Also, when you put that TCA throttle in or flight stick to get into the system, they may recognize your throttle already. That's what happened with my Logitech / Saitek system. So okay, so let's slide this over real quick since we have 80 miles to go, and I got some information to plug in. And about 60 miles to the FMCs, or to the McDo's. There I go, doing what they do on this checklist. Alright, so with Sim Toolkit, here's our approach again, folks. A little quieter, a little easier on my head, and not nerve-wracking to me. Spada to Harrison, straight in. We're going to check all of this on our McDo here in a minute. And then we'll make the turn for final right at 0.6 from the runway. Alright, the frequency is 1097 for the localizer, and that's IACD. Final approach 312, that's from Harrison in. LVOJ is 6,800 feet, MDA is 5,400 feet, or 542 feet above the ground. And again, we're going to have VATSIMs this time. So folks, that's going to be lights behind each other that we have to use for lining up for the runway. Here's the pictorial of the missed approach. And our minimums, again, is 5,400 feet and a mile visibility. All right, now one thing we did not get into because it was just too hectic on that channel with VATSIM. Hang on a second, fade that out of here so I don't forget. V speeds for the arrival are going to be 132 for the ref and 137 for the approach. Will probably be around anywhere from 150 to 140 coming down. Alright, and looking at my McDo, it's already screaming at me for data. So let's get over to the perf page. Head over to the next phase, head over one more. Alright, QNH. is 30. Let me just see if we've gotten better here. Huh, still the hour behind. Good thing I have my my Top Cap program. Okay, so we're going to put that in 30.08. Make sure you put the decimal in. Temperature is 19. Winds 320 at 13. Okay, transition altitude, United States, it's going to be 18,000 MDA. Let me just pull my chart up again. I don't think it's going to let me put in 5,400 feet, but we're going to give it a try. Oh, it did. Good. And we're going to be landing full flaps. This is showing land speed of 134. 132 is what I have, and approach 139, 140. So we're good to go here. Top of descent is starting to show up here just outside the 40-mile ring. So we will, let's see, 20 miles from top of descent. We'll make sure everything is set like it should be. Let's see if the rad nav has us. IACD 1097 312. Perfect. So everything is in the system correctly at this time. Just so everyone's up to speed here, 153 for our distance from the airport. This one should tell us 41 miles from top of descent. Yay, let's all take a breath and get ready for a displaced localizer approach into Grand Junction. And folks, just unless things are really horrible, I do plan to rewind when we land so you all can see the approach, barring any problems. That's why I'm just kind of unwinding right now. Play a little bit of music to kind of help soothe everything out. Now, non-Airbus folks, one thing I do want to let you know, when you click activate approach phase, it is going to put you to this airspeed, one of these two. So prior to doing that, what's recommended, hang on a second, wrong one, first page I wanted, set your speed so that way it won't slow it down to 140, especially if you've still got a long way to go. I usually do it as I close in. Let's take a look though at the routing. Oh, SPEC'S isn't in there, so let's get that in there real quick. How's that spelled? S-P-A-D-A. S-P-A-D-A. I must have missed it. CX29. Where's that? Changed on me before. Alright, this is where I am not very familiar. Okay, well. And down we go. Alright, and here we go, folks, with why I like X-Plane is the weather, or not the weather, the scenery that's coming up with the mountains. Although, with the PMDG announcement of the DC6 going to Musfuss, maybe? I mean, I wanted to go there when I first got this computer, but right now, not so sure. And those of you interested in joining our Discord channel, that is at the lower right hand corner. That link should take you over to our Discord, and feel free to hop over. Hang on a second in case alright, so we got that set up here. Oh, excuse me. And like I said, I am completely unfamiliar with where we're heading into, so this is going to be fun. Okay, we're just through 21,000. And folks, if you like what you're seeing, and hopefully my griping wasn't bad about VATSIM, I try to keep it in check. It is what it is. But if you like what you're seeing and want to be a part of the group, by all means, folks, hit that follow button. You'll get an email notification letting you know where we're going next. As soon as we start the stream up on Monday, you'll get that. And I'll let you know here in a moment. But it also, you know, we love having more and more people join this community. A lot of times we try to fly on VATSIM, but I try to also be mindful if there's going to be a lot of traffic, which there wasn't when I first got on, but it is what it is. Like, you know, that's how things happen. And it got real busy and makes things kind of little frustrating on my part, and I try to temper that. Oh, dang it. There we go. Mac Air. Mac Logbook. Oh. But why can't I turn down the range? Oh, man. But anyway. Well, if you hit the follow button already, you'll get the emails there, Mr. Drums. And you'll know when we're flying, and you can work your way out. However, if you want to see where our flight schedules are, you can find them on Twitch under the About. You can find them on the Discord channel. You can also head over to our Facebook page. Okay, so we're coming up on Beta, I believe it is. It's hard to read. Yes, Beta. And then we start the arrival, folks. I think we got to cross that ridge. I'm going to find out what that ridge is at. SimBrief. Okay. 11,700's the minimums in here. So we'll see how this works out coming in. Okay, 134, 139. Okay. So are you able to get airborne, or just no luck with your rudders? Alright, yeah. I gotta figure out how we can get Discord up and running here better so we don't get all that echo. That'll be my next thing to learn, among many other things. How far out is Spada? I think we might be on a missed approach here. I'm going way too fast here if we're coming down.
$10,000 feet.
Yeah, if that's the airport right ahead of me, we're way too fast. And going to be way too high. Well, what I'll do is an overflight and come around and land. Yeah, we're never gonna make, well, no, because there went out, we're still way too high, so. Alright, just so y'all know, yeah, that's our airport right there. We're going to do no way to land in this configuration, so we're going to overfly and come in. Let her level off at 6,800 feet. $2,500. Oh, there's the other runway I'm going. I thought there was another runway there. I see it now. Okay. Hang on, let me get the speed brakes back in. Okay. So we're 3,000 feet high. All right, so let's get up here, get all our lights on. Okay. All right, folks, there's the airport. We're in a downwind. Grand Junction traffic, Mac Air 572, left downwind, runway 29, full stop. Okay, final checks, brake fans on, spoilers armed. Get that white band showing. We're at flaps 2. Okay, we're going to go ahead and slow. Oh yeah, let's go ahead. Okay, here we go. Alright, landing gear, next level of flaps.
Gear down.
Okay, here we are. Mac Air 572 turning final, runway 29, Grand Junction. Flaps full. Okay, landing checklist complete, cabin ready. All autopilots off, auto thrust on.
$1,000.
Approaching 29.
$500. $400. $300. $200. $100. $50. $40.
Come on, girl.
$30.
Long landing.
20.
Long landing.
10.
8,000 feet remaining.
Alright, well, not the greatest, not the worst. 356 feet a minute, a little bumpy, but... Alright, so let's clear up here. Alright, okay, brake fans. We'll leave on. Alright folks, welcome to Grand Junction. Like I said, 356 feet a minute on the landing. Alright. Okay. Weather radar can now go off. Actually, could have turned that off probably a long time ago. Okay, so flaps up. De-arm spoilers while we're here. Transponder. Okay, and flaps open so we can start the APU and start taxiing in. And Grand Junction traffic, Mac Air 572 clear, 29, taxiing to the terminal. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Trying to debate if I want to go ahead and go in there. How much is park over here? Alright, so we're into blocks. Okay, let's get through the rest of this. APU is on. Put the bleed on. And final checks. Parking brakes on, thrusts to idle. Engine 1, engine 2 off. Okay, external lights, seatbelt and smoking sign off. All right. Fuel pumps, brake fan, we can now disable. There we go. And fuel pumps. All right, we're going to leave it at that point, folks. All right, well. All right, so we are here in Grand Junction. If I'd have been paying attention a little more, I'd have intentionally got the airplane down to 6,800 feet quicker, but missed it, so we had to kind of go around, kind of come around the pattern and land. It's VFR day, so great. IFR, a little different, but today's, being clear as can be, not a problem, kind of. So I hope y'all enjoyed. For now, we're going to kick on some music. I like to end the show with this music. Let me first get us off VATSIM. And get my aircraft blocked in here. And by the way, little rougher on me with Mac Air, 485 feet a minute, but it'll get through. And a maintenance issue put on it so they know to look at the plane, possible tail strike on the departure. My next flight out of here, actually, J Drums, is going to be to Vegas. But I'll look and see how far Billings is. I might have to look at that. But our next flight tomorrow, before I start backing it up, that'll be Mid-America Airport to Fort Hood, Killeen, Texas. And that'll be in the 767 for Sim Air Force. Just been kind of doing a charter run with the 67 North American airline colors. Missed that airline big time, but understand times were tough back then. And then I'll be shooting. I don't know where I'll go from there. So let's roll the tape and let's see what happened. Okay. Yeah, I know my aircraft's moving. You're done. Hang on a second. I just want to make sure Mac Air understands I'm done. Okay, good. All right, so let's try this again. Let's hop out the plane. Okay, so let me all right, so we're looking out one of the wings. We're not in full configuration yet either. Comes the gear. Speed it up just a tad. Okay, that didn't look too bad. Let's roll her back again. Little, like I said, a little squirrely once I land. Let's look out the other wing. Yeah, wow, so much to see. Not too bad. Well, let's go ahead and roll it in. Hi, Taco Z Gods. Thanks for the follow. We do appreciate it. but we do appreciate the follow. Folks, we're going to bring it in here and kind of leave it with the tower view of our landing coming in. We want to thank you for joining us on our flight from Mesa, Arizona, up here to Grand Junction, Colorado. I think there is a sign right out there saying the middle of nowhere, but probably pretty nice in the wintertime. So y'all have a great day, and what a great landing that'll look like from the tower. Still a little squirrely, but y'all have a great Sunday. God bless, and we'll see you tomorrow coming out of Mid-America Airport for Fort Hood, Texas. Again, thanks for joining Flying with Mike today. Thank you, Taco Z Gods. Y'all have a great day.